I'm only speaking to benevolent beings. I now refuse consent for all forced technologies, clone attachments, entity attachments, forced magic, and all the entities trying to force those. I now refuse consent for all forced magic and or reversal magic, and any magic of any kind in any form from any source in existence to be forced on any level, dimension, or timeline of my being, which is to include any of my recordings in part and or in whole. I refuse consent to being harmed. I also refuse consent to any and all entities, beings, groups, individuals, parasites, any holding ill intent towards me to be on my channel and or to listen to any of my recordings in part and or in whole. Moving forward. Now, this particular recording, I'm going to be just talking about a particular myth, in quotes, myth, and some other things connected to it. Now, and the mention of a movie as well. So first off, the myth most are familiar with, it's two brothers. Both of those names start with E. One ends in K-I and one ends in L-I-L. I think I'm not fully versed in it, but that's not really the full. I'm only mentioning it to mention other things. So hopefully you can forgive me for possible inaccuracies. You might have to fill in the blanks if you know parts of it to be something else. Anyways, to my knowledge, they each had different fathers. One was of reptilian origin, and the other one was of Syrian origin, with a Lyran mother, I believe. Now, one of them, if not both, but at least one of them we know as a fucking psycho, right? Serial killer, geneticist, mad scientist, basically. He decided he was gonna do some fuckery here. Before we get there, here's the thing, is they started out somewhere else. I believe the Orion star system or constellation, okay? They knew early on he was fucking bonkers. His family, whatever. They knew that he was not right, okay? At some point, I think that they were kicked out. I'm not exactly sure how they got here. Whether they were kicked out or they chose to leave that place on their own. I think the bad one decided he didn't play well with others, and he wanted to go do his own thing. Okay? Now, whether he was kicked out or he left on his own. Here's the thing. They're here. Okay? Or at least one of them is. The psycho one seems to be here. And the other one had disagreements about what his brother was doing. Rightfully so. His brother's fucking bonkers. He didn't agree. He wasn't in alignment with what his brother was doing. At some point, his brother sent the flood to kill all the abominations. Right? Okay. So, now, I've heard this story as of late being discussed by a couple other people. I don't know how accurate they are. They seem well-versed in mythology to a degree. But they're saying that it's the other brother that's actually bonkers. So initially, I think it was the one ending in LIL that wasn't right, right? And now there's some coming forward saying it's the one with the letters LIL for the last part of that name who's not right. The malevolence likes to play good cop, bad cop. So I can see it how every so often they fucking switch it up. They're probably both bonkers. Right? If one brother was trying to stop the other one early on, where has he been all this time? Is my question. Where the fuck has he been? Because the other brother's doing all kinds of abomination here. So where's his brother? Here's the other thing. Where's his family? Like, if you have a family member that you know is a fucking serial killer, right? If you live with a family member or know of a family member that's off his rocker and is trying to murder people and is using technology and screwing around with science and DNA and all of that and trying to mix humans and animals, right? Like, if you have a family member that's that fucking bonkers, do you sit back and just watch? Or do you call the fucking authorities? Right? Like, even though he's your brother, you know that he's fucking whacked. And you know that he's hurting others. Because he's fucking whacked in the head. Now, his family, before they even left, his family should have dealt with his ass. Whether you got to lock his ass up permanently, or you just got to, do what needs to be done. And you terminate that whore. Because there ain't no coming back from that, right? Like, he's bonkers. He's not going to get better. So, you just got to, take care of some business. Some family business, right? So now what they do, they either let them leave or kick them out. Now, I don't know which one it was. But here we are. And one or both of them is here fucking shit up. And has just made this planet a fucking mess. And has caused so much fucking trauma and harm to benevolent beings here. Because his brain is squirming like a toad. I'm just saying. Where's his family? If they kicked him out, it's still initially their responsibility to either intervene here or assist benevolent beings here escape or get out of here or end their son's psycho, right? It was their responsibility initially. They didn't do what they should have done. And now all of a sudden we have all these supposed benevolent groups and races from the same from the same star system and surrounding star systems, channeling their lip service word vomit. How we need to, just be more loving and just raise your frequency and vibration. All the while, their own kin is here playing mad scientist. Like, number one, it's fucking hypocritical. It's hypocrisy. And then if they're not assisting or intervening, what's that? What's that about? Are the parents just as fucking psycho? They seem to be. Because they haven't intervened or assisted here at all. And there's a school of thought that it's all humans' fault, or humanity needs to do this, or humanity hasn't done that, or it's only having to do with humanity. No, that's incorrect. Those two whores, or at least one of them, has a whole cult following. They're the occult groups on the surface that are just as fucking whacked, that hoard the planet's resources and money, that are totally fucking psycho, trying to run things on the surface, trying to social engineer, trying to run their trauma-based mind control bullshit, who worship the whore. And now they're using AI and frequency weaponry and what's also interesting is most of those, any kind of rendition that I've ever seen of most of those supposed benevolent groups and races, they all look like some form of gray. Now, whether they're fucking blue or green or purple or whatever the fuck, they still look like a gray. And if you need technology in order to sustain your stay in manifested creation, what that means is you fucked up. Somewhere along the evolutionary line, you fucked up. And you didn't fix it. So while they're running around claiming they're more spiritually advanced and they're supposedly existing in higher dimensions and all of that, are they really more spiritually advanced? Since they didn't fix their shit and they still have to rely on technology in order to stay in the universe, and their kin is running all over the place playing mad scientist and serial killer, right? Like, can you see what I'm saying? So many give reverence to these supposed benevolent groups and races when they haven't fucking assisted here. I've seen no manifested physical evidence of their assistance. I see a lot of lip service word vomit that keeps most people in a misinformation circle jerk. And they do quite a bit to try and keep true benevolent beings off of the true evolution trajectory. So it doesn't seem like they're so benevolent. It sure doesn't. And especially when they have one of their own here that's fucking whacked and playing serial killer / mad scientist. In the same space as an entire race. Now, there's all these other, all these groups. And not one of them can see any way to benevolently assist here. I mean, there are ways to intervene without directly interfering with humanity. It's called turning off the fucking fence. Now, here's the other thing. Their whack job kin is down here fucking shit up. Using technology to try and forcibly obstruct universal law manifested correction here. At some point, that's going to affect them. Either directly or indirectly. At some point, chickens come home to roost. It will affect them. So they have a duty and a responsibility to intervene here, to assist the benevolent beings here who are trying to evolve, who are working very hard to evolve and raise their frequency and vibration. And they're always in their channel, a lot of their channelings, they're like, you need to think about becoming a galactic citizen, blah, blah, blah. And then the entire time, they already have one of their own down here fucking shit up. Like, it doesn't look good from a PR standpoint. You know what I mean? It's just, there's a lot wrong there. There's a lot of logic that's missing. A lot of holes in the story. So I'm just saying, I don't think most of those races or groups are really benevolent. They haven't assisted here. They have given no fucks up to this point. They claim to be observing here, or observing planet Earth and observing humanity and observing our progress. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, they spend a lot of time observing. And since they spend so much time observing here, I don't see how they could not know what that whack job's been doing. And the kind of horror and atrocity that he's been trying to force on humanity. So either they really suck at observing, or they're part of the problem. They're just as fucking psycho. And they're parasites. And it is really challenging to evolve when you're being forcibly fucking zapped with frequency weaponry daily. And you've got some psycho on the other end fucking with frequencies. And actually working to interfere and obstruct evolution here. So while he's doing that, and then you got all these other groups, oh, you need to evolve and raise your frequency and vibration. Like, can you see the contradiction? Can you see the mind fuck? All they need to do is just shut off that fucking fence. We can do the rest. But we need the fence fucking shut off. And they need to actually just pull that whore and remove that whore from existence. They need to get him out of here. He's fucking bonkers. And he's dead. Like, what kind of a spiritually advanced group and race of beings allow one of their own that's already turned into a fucking parasite, that's already dead, and the only way he can stay is if he parasitizes and cannibalizes? Like, what I'm saying is that's not a very spiritually advanced race of beings that allow that. to continue without addressing it. That's not very responsible. And especially if they were kicked out and then all of a sudden they're here and obviously an entire race of beings is here. And now that parasite that they likely kicked out is now here fucking shit up here. So obviously it's not responsible of them to refuse to intervene here. Especially since that whore is one of their own. They didn't do what needed to be done in the first place. You don't let whores like that run amok. You either lock them up permanently or you do what needs to be done. He's already dead. He's already a parasite. So as far as I'm concerned, all of those supposed benevolent groups and races that claim to be observing Earth and humanity, they're all fucking responsible. They all share responsibility in not intervening here, in not assisting here. Obviously, you can't let parasites run amok with frequency weaponry, trying to obstruct universal law manifested correction in an entire universe. You can't let parasites run amok with technology trying to obstruct evolution. You can't do that. That's not allowed. Parasites shouldn't even be here, number one, and they most certainly shouldn't be anywhere near fucking technology. Look at the mess the whore has not created, but been engaged in. It just pisses me off and enrages me seeing true benevolent humans falling or believing the lies of these supposed benevolent groups and races. They're not asking their hard, logical, critical questions. They're giving reverence when those groups and races have not earned any kind of respect and have not assisted here. They need to be seen for what they are. You look at facts. Have they assisted here? Have they intervened? Have they, in their channelings, provided the actual truth of what the reptilians are doing below ground as well? Have they been channeling the truth of the real technology that they've been using and forcing on humanity? The reptilians' true agenda. Like, if they're not talking about that stuff and they're just sugarcoating some bullshit, which is what it has been, right? Then that's your that shows you what their true intent is. Now, the movie, I don't necessarily like to say the names of movies, but the first word is Jupiter. And then the second word starts with an A, and it ends with a G. So I think one of the stars that played in it, her first name is Mila. She played in that, she's played in several movies. One of them was the 70s, that TV sitcom, The 70s Show. Anyways, so Jupiter is the first word. The second word starts with an A and ends with a G. You could probably find it. Anyways, if you know what movie I'm talking about, that's kind of... I think there's a lot of truth there. I think they're showing a lot of truth in that movie about universal goings on. And I just think we're really at a point where there should have already been intervention and assistance here. Universal laws and universal law correction shouldn't be being obstructed, most especially by technology, and even more so by a fucking dead entity running amok with technology. Like, that shouldn't be going on. That technology is not allowed here. Dead parasites are not allowed in manifested creation. So clearly, those supposed benevolent groups and races are not as spiritually advanced as they claim to be. And they seem to be running a whole different agenda other than what's coming out in their channelings. The other thing is if they have other kin here, like there are many star seeds and indigos and crystal children and all these beings here that claim that they have ties or DNA or what have you within them, DNA, energies, blood, that is somehow related to other groups and races. So if that's true, and those other groups and races have kin here, why aren't they fucking helping? Now, some say this is an experiment. I don't think so. I think there's a mad, whacked out fucking dead entity playing mad scientist. I think that there were already beings here when they showed up. And I think that whore, decided he was going to play mad scientist here. Now, I don't know why he wasn't stopped to begin with. Apparently, his brother sent a flood to kill his abominations. Why didn't he just end the one doing the abominations? Right? Why didn't he just take care of that one? I mean, yes, I can see you want to end the abominations, but most definitely the one trying to make the abominations. Like, that would be, I would think, your first priority. I just think there's a lot of hypocrisy, a lot of lies, cons, deceit. Intentional obfuscation. Trying to obstruct true benevolent beings from realizing the truth of things. And getting on the true evolution trajectory path. You know why? 'Cause they're all fucking guilty and they're all fucking complicit in what has been being forced in this place. So it's not just the whore here playing mad scientist and serial killer. It's in the other star systems that haven't intervened or interfered. And interfered's not really the right word. They haven't intervened here and they haven't assisted. It's because when true benevolent beings here know the truth of things and can stand in the full presence of universal laws and contradict their lies. Like, it's not, like I said before, it's not just the malevolence here that gets nailed. It's the rest of them too. So you should be able to see why there's so many lies and cons and why they're so fucking scared of true benevolent beings evolving here or from here. I think there's a lot of them that are complicit, either directly or indirectly. I think they know they would also get nailed once universal laws are fully enforced here. I think there's a concerted effort to keep the actual truth of things hidden still. Even though they do show some of it in things like movies and books, in their symbology that they've erected in this place. But I think there's a lot more entities that are fucking guilty and complicit than just the malevolence here. So maybe those are things to think on or contemplate. I don't know. But I just needed to say some things. Because they're fucking with the inner workings of the universe. They're trying to undermine the basic principles of the real universe itself They're trying to obstruct universal law manifested correction. You can't fucking do that. That's how universes implode. And are they just all just so scared of parasites, right? That they run away like little screaming school children? Not very spiritually advanced, huh? Oh my gosh. They better pull up their big boy pants and their big girl pants. Oh my gosh. They're scared of parasites. Especially one of their own. Jesus Christ. Or are they knowingly and willingly complicit? And if they're parasites, they don't have will. They try to rape. And if they absolutely have to have technology in order to stay in manifested creation, they're a parasite. And they fucked up along the evolutionary line way back when, and they never fixed it. So once again, they're not very spiritually advanced. They're fucking parasites. In most renditions of these groups and races that I've seen, they all look like different versions of the gray. Except for the Nordics. And there's things about them I take issue with. So, they actually claim to be here. And they haven't done fuck all about the reptilians. I'm pretty sure they're just working with them. So I just think there's a lot of forced mind fuck, or attempted forced mind fuck. I think there's a lot of lies, cons, and deceit, a lot of fuckery. I think they've been using humanity for different things for a long fucking time. There's talk of them doing their thing that they do every couple hundred years or however often. And usually when they go to do that, it's because a lot of beings have woken up to the con. They know what the fucking deal is here. And start refusing consent and fighting back. Like, if you really look at all the facts and as much of the details as you can find about these supposed groups and races, and you're looking into mythology and trying to get the truth from those stories, you're trying to piece things together and connect dots. I just think that there's a lot of dots that can be connected there, a lot of red flags, a lot of indication of fuckery and complicity, and a lot of intentional harm directed at humanity. There's a lot of forced obstruction. They're just not very helpful, right? They're just not very helpful. There's a lot of lip service word vomit, but there's not a lot of help. One plays good cop, the other plays bad cop, right? Tries to give you the illusion of benevolence when really they're all just fucking parasites. We need to get the fuck out of here. That fence needs to come down. And the tech shut off. And the second that fence comes down, I hope you guys have your lists ready of the actions that you'll be taking once the tech is shut off, because that's the time to do it. I mean, I'm still encouraging beings to do what they can even now, every day, all day. But what I'm saying is, most definitely, when that fence comes down or shut off, that's really the time to be taking, whatever actions you're going to be taking. I think these bitches have been raping humanity for a long time. And I think that they've been trying to use the tech to wear and use things that do not belong to them to try and stay in manifested creation where they clearly do not belong. Humanity could have evolved long ago. And there's a bunch of rapists running around calling themselves higher advanced groups that live in a different star system and claim to observe the earth and humanity, and yet they've done fuck all about what the whores are doing. And I think they're all fucking scared, because I think they're all complicit in one way or another, either directly or indirectly. I think there's a lot of fucking lies. It's sad that some humans actually look up to them and revere them when they've earned none of it. They haven't earned any kind of respect or any kind of reverence. And they are sure working hard at trying to implode this universe with their fuckery. They have been told to stop and commanded to stop many times by many beings. There are many beings here that have been screaming for fucking assistance for years. It just shows you what those, in quotes, benevolent beings' true intentions are. If they were going to help, if they were going to assist here, they would have already fucking done it. The second he got here. Or if he was still here, obviously he was still here after the flood, right? He continued doing mad scientist bullshit. Okay, well, they didn't get the job done. They should have come back to finish it. Get that whore out of here. Fuck. It just doesn't look good for them. It really doesn't. It's really all the indications and lack of assistance and lip service word vomit. It's really showing them to be parasites. Parasitic. Psychotic. Complicit. Guilty. So hopefully benevolent beings out there aren't falling for the bullshit. If you do work with or communicate with any of those supposed benevolent groups and races, you're asking your hard, logical, critical questions. Okay? Finding out why they haven't assisted here. Finding out why one of their own is still down here playing mad scientist and serial killer. Okay? Why the fence hasn't been shut the fuck off yet. Why the technology hasn't been terminated, deactivated. And if they absolutely need technology to sustain their stay in manifested creation, that's your first indication that you're dealing with the parasite. If they absolutely have to have technology in order to stay, to be in manifested creation, they fucked up and you're talking to a parasite. They didn't fix their shit. They didn't do their healing work. They didn't do their inner work. They're in a state of devolution. They fucked up. They didn't fix it. So that should be your number one question. And if any of their energy, knowledge, wisdom, in any way, shape, or form originates from the torture, rape, and murder of true benevolent beings in this place, or any other beings tortured, raped, and murdered in other places or on other planets. And if you do ask that question, I pretty much can almost guarantee you they're not going to give you an answer. Or they're going to stall. Or they're going to, you'll notice, you'll should be able to intuitively pick up that they're lying. That they're trying to make some shit up. Or they just try to get you off topic altogether. Or take you in another direction. I can almost guarantee you they're not going to answer your question directly, thoroughly, because they're guilty. Okay, well, this is a long recording. There might be things there to contemplate and think on, or maybe not. But I'm going to wrap this up. And hopefully benevolent beings are finding their strength, standing in their power and authority, refusing consent for anything that's forced. And releasing all forced fear, trauma, harm, and pain. Lies, cons, and deceit. From the totality of your being. Devoid of all harm to you. And obviously I hope that you are pulling back and taking back anything that you think has been raped from you, out of all clones, technologies, implants, AI systems, astral realms, and artificial realities, and any and all malevolence. I mean, that's another thing. Their erection of all these artificial realities and connecting those in any way to the astral realms. Like these bitches, if you have not had any experience, just about every day, during my sleep, they're like, I really don't want to give detail. They're just so fucking horrific. They've erected all these artificial realities for the purpose of torture, rape, and murder. And they have the same in the astral realms. They have parts of the astral realm where those are also for the same purpose. And what they do to beings there, alive and dead. Like, that shouldn't even, those kinds of astral realms and artificial realities shouldn't even be in existence. Where are all these supposed benevolent groups and races as these parasites are doing all that? And trying to keep this an inverted time loop. Like, you know, hopefully you're using your logic and your critical thinking. That those things, number one, aren't allowed. And they should have been, especially if it, you know, one of their own is down here trying to manage all that and do all that. The shit needs to be shut down. This whole matrix needs to be fucking imploded and shut down, along with all fucking astral realms and artificial realities. This shit's an abomination. We need to get the fuck out of here. Anyways, moving forward, just I hope you're finding your strength in continuing to refuse consent and take back your stuff. Till next time.